Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Works meeting for Monday, June the 12th. Our first item will be Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is roll. Madam Clerk.
For RDC, oh, I do I do not. Everybody is present.
Next
But the
item,
mayor.
but the mayor, he is late. Okay, next item is approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? If so, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
I have a motion from Alan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Becky. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The minutes are approved. Next item will be department head reports. Police Department.
Scott Hood, Lebanon Police Department. In the time since the last department report, the Lebanon Police Department has responded to 1,079 calls for service, investigated 58 vehicle crashes, and effected 19 arrests. Those arrests were for the following charges: 9 wanted on warrants, 4 battery, 2 operating while intoxicated, 2 possession of a narcotic drug, 1 burglary, and 1 trespassing. Select Lebanon Police Department members completed juvenile advisement of rights training conducted by Boone County Deputy Prosecutor Kristen Alonsick at the Lebanon Police Department. This training introduced officers to a new form and procedure the Boone County Prosecutor's Office requests we use in our dealing with juvenile offenders. Detective Captain Jeff Nelson, along with Detectives Justin Fuston, Trey Hendricks, and crime scene investigator Morgan Kamaj, attended cell tower analysis training in Zionsville. This training was conducted by the Indiana State Police and focused on evidence recovery from mobile devices and vehicle infotainment centers. Finally, Detective Eric Adams attended the annual Indiana Drug Enforcement Conference in Indianapolis. This conference provided training on topics such as Intelligence Fusion Center, drones, and search warrants. Pending any of your questions, this concludes my report.
Any other questions from the board? Question from the public? Thank you. Next up is Fire Department, Chief Batts.
Good evening, everyone. Since the last Board of Public Works and Safety meeting, Lebanon Fire has made 170 emergency calls of service, logged 387 training hours, completed 9 commercial pre-plans, finalized 110 commercial inspections, participated in 3 TAC meetings, assisted with 3 public education events, and performed 2 car seat fittings. The Lebanon Fire Department would like to recognize 2 of our newest promotions. Firefighters Brandon Beasley and Jordan Johnson have been appointed to the rank of engineer. Brandon has 9 years of service, and Jordan has 4 years of service with LFD. We'd like to congratulate both of those individuals. May 28th through June 3rd, Lieutenant Sam Doherty volunteered as a camp counselor with the Hoosier Burn Camp. This marks Sam's 11th year with the Burn Camp and 8 years being a counselor. This year was HBC's 25th anniversary of the summer camp, and the theme was All Stars Sports Theme. Hoosier Burn Camp is an organization full of many programs and opportunities year-round for burn survivors from infants up to young adults. Sam's favorite part of volunteering with HBC is being able to interact with burn survivors and help create a fun, positive memories. Among the campers is one of Lebanon's own recent LHS graduate, Samantha Stoeffler. June 2nd, the City of Lebanon Fire Department took delivery of new rope rescue gear. Our partners at U.S. Cold Storage graciously donated the equipment to help update our technical rescue needs. The additional rope rescue supplies will be used for low-angle and high-angle rescues and will improve our capability to mitigate complex rescue scenarios. U.S. Cold Storage has been an instrumental in the development of Lebanon Fire's technical rope rescue program and have been a great community partner. We'd like to give special thanks to Adam Ashley and Corey Root for their continued support of LFD. That's all I have for this evening.
Further question from the board? Question from the public? Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
Next up is Parks Department, John Messenger.
Good evening. All the flowers have been planted, and we are finishing up a couple more beds in Memorial Park. We have taken down 4 trees at the Arboretum, 3 at Abner, and 2 at Memorial over the last couple weeks. Also trimmed trees along the Big 4 Trail in downtown. They were getting down around the where they park. I saw after the rains we have to do a little more. And Missy, those hot tubs downtown, those flowers will get over there. They were so tiny, but they're finally getting over there, the waves. Anyway, Seashore Water Park and the splash pad have been very popular since the opening on Memorial Weekend. Been slammed for the last couple of weeks. Due to the cold temperatures, however, in the pools, 67-degree temperature, I don't think we want our children swimming in that. It's actually almost warmer than outside, but still. We're going to shut it down probably through Wednesday. And there again, all the swim lessons that we had, of course, they started this morning. Those are going to be held at Lebanon High School, and we've communicated that with all the parents. So they have a little warmer pool for a few days.
What's the water temperature, John?
67 degrees, yeah. This morning, Friday when I left, it was at 78, so this little cold snap really did it. It'll heat up once the sun comes out, but we need some sun. These cool temperatures at night are terrible, though. Indiana Baseball League, they rented the field for this summer, part of the summer. I think Lebanon has one group in there. They play on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays, if you'd like to come out and see them. And there's a town ball that comes in September. That's another group from Lebanon. I think Matt Jackson's team, I believe that's who it is. And they come in at September. But if you want to catch a good baseball game, Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. Swim lessons again are out at the pool. Probably Thursday we'll start back out. We have a morning, evening, and they're all filled up. We have stocked both the ponds, the conservation pond and the hot pond, with fish. The hot pond fountain is being serviced. We had some problems with the motor working on it, so we took it out if anybody's concerned. And there again, we've been fighting the algae at the conservation pond. That's treated 2 times a month. So every 2 weeks we have someone coming out. They treat that. They treat the conservation pond, the hot pond, and the detention pond over by Vincennes.
Is that helping?
Yeah, it is. We just need some rain. I think you probably know good and well.
Right.
I used to throw copper sulfate and things like that in there, but ever since we had the hot pond issue with IDEM, it's out of my hands. I went ahead and contracted somebody for that, and I think liability-wise and everything else. And they do a nice job. They take care of Witham and several. They're a really top-notch group. Just struggling, I think it's environmentally, the temperatures, the up and down temperatures. So the algae, it's really subsided over the last 2 weeks since he treated it again.
That's good.
Yeah, we don't have any of those subsurfaces that I worry about. We've had a couple of nice bands playing Memorial Park the last couple of weeks. Gary Chambers and a band had a real nice outing. That was the start of the Memorial Weekend. And then we just had, I think, Voice. He was the 6th season winner, and there again, it was nice to hear them, but that was for an event that we had out there. They played on it last Thursday. We're gearing up for the 4th of July. Huseman Amusement Company will be running from July 28th to July 4th. There again, they also do Clinton County Fair. I got to witness what kind of carnival's coming in, and it's very similar to Poor Jack. Mother and father, or mom and pop operation that also used to work for Poor Jack, so I'm very confident, well-run operation, Clinton County Fair. If you've ever been there and saw their amusement, that's who it is. The Buick Club hosted their car show again in Memorial Park on the 3rd and had an amazing turnout. They come from Kokomo. Really nice seeing those cars and those people, and they'll be back, I'm sure, again for next year. They love our parks. The Kiwanis Fishing Derby was also held on July 3rd at the Hot Pond Park. and they also had a great turnout with beautiful weather. Quite a few fish caught too, and it's nice to see those bass trophies. I've never got one myself, but nice big bass trophies, and parents got to get out and fish. Inwell, the concert I was telling you about, Inwell hosted their summer recovery event on June 8th in Memorial Park. Live music, keynote speakers, and recovery and wellness resources. And there again, the performance was really good. The weather was just beautiful too. Not the turnout that we wanted, but a lot bigger. This is their second annual, and they will be back. They love the setup that we have. We are wrapping up our spring pickleball league, as the last night will be tomorrow. We had 12 teams this round, played for 11 weeks. It's been a lot of fun, and look forward to starting back up in the fall. Our mother-son pool party will be held at Seashore Water Park this Friday, 85-degree temperature outside that day, so thank goodness for that. There'll be plenty of games, s'mores, and of course lots of dinners. Be plenty, there again, the event will run from 5:30 to 8. Hope to see you there. There again, just show up and, have the $20 per couple and you get in. We won't turn anybody away. On Friday, June 30th, we will be hosting our Serving Up Sparks Pickleball Tournament. It's a night tournament with pool play starting at 7. Our ages are 18 to 54 age division is now full. We do have remaining spots in our 55-plus division. The cost is $40 per team and includes a T-shirt, snacks, and water. Looking forward to using our courts under the lights. And that's all I had.
Any question from the board? Any question from the public? Thank you, John. Next up is Engineering Department, Kevin Kurlick.
Good evening, board members. Engineering update for tonight. A few projects around town to talk about. Our resurfacing project, we're just wrapping up the striping as we speak. Got a few more stripes to put down, a few more stop bars and crosswalks to stripe, and we'll be done there. With the exception of our Riley Road widening project, obviously that one has been delayed, but appraisals are now complete. Right-of-way engineering is also complete, and we've forwarded all that information to our buying consultant so that we can buy right-of-way for that widening. But unfortunately, we've also been notified of potential conflict with a Vectren 10-inch gas line that runs down Riley Road. So we're working with, I shouldn't even say Vectren anymore. It's now CenterPoint Energy, and we're working to get that relocated and continue that project. Hopefully still get that under construction this year. But the gas line conflict is a new wrinkle that was thrown at us in the last few days. Elmwood Bridge, the Whit Road Bridge, we're just wrapping up some minor punch list items on those projects. Essentially, those will be closed out here shortly. Whit Road, the bigger project from Lafayette Avenue up to Austin Drive. This is not scheduled for construction until 2027. Our next real milestone is our Phase 1, our Stage 1 plans are expected to be completed in mid-July. Grant Street, I really want to hit on a few things here. As we got into summertime, we kind of decided to mix up our schedule, and as you may remember, we were kind of doing things in an east half, west half phase. So Phase 2 was the reconstruction of the east half of the road, and then Phase 3 was to be the west half of the road. But in order to make sure we minimized our impacts, and we were hitting some large conflicts with utilities, some unforeseen water main issues on Ann Street, we've kind of broken out some intermittent phases. One we're calling Phase 4, which is the area of Washington Street and Grant Street, that intersection. As you probably are aware, that was closed on May 30th and is under construction as we speak. We felt best to do this during the summer while school is out and eliminate some of the crossovers and difficult work we would have to do associated with the bridge. So we have closed that intersection completely. It'll be closed for another 9 days or so, and then we're going to jump up to Ann Street. So Phase 4 is what we're calling it, is Grant Street. at the intersection of Washington Street. We're under construction right now. We're actually getting ready to proof roll, subgrade tomorrow, and get ready to move that forward. We'll open that up around June 22nd. At that time, we will move over to the intersection of Ann and Williams, and that's really where we've had some unforeseen water conditions there with the water mains in that area that are just have reached the end of their life and need to be replaced. So this is unforeseen work here. We really hoped, we were always planning to do Ann Street intersection separately, but it's becoming a larger project now that we have some water main reconstruction to do underneath that intersection. So we'll be doing that starting on June 22nd and running through July 27th. So our plan is still to get that intersection completed before school starts on August 3rd, I believe, is the first day of school this year. So we're planning to do that basically through the month of July. And then we'll fall back and resume Phase 2 work, which is the east half of Grant Street, the main line there north of the bridge. And that will last until roughly September 28th, when we'll move over and we'll reconstruct the west half. And then we'll wrap up the west half not till sometime in December. And we are at this point, given to some of the delays on the additional water main work, we're looking at surfacing that week before Christmas. Not a great time to be surfacing roads, but historically we usually can work up until Christmas, and that is the plan right now, given some of these unforeseen conditions that we're facing with some aging water infrastructure. So again, just to recap these one more time quickly. Intersection of Washington and Grant, under construction right now, scheduled to reopen on June 22nd. That will then close the intersection of Ann and Williams, and that'll be closed till the 27th of July. And then we'll resume our east half construction north of the bridge until September 28th. Then we'll fall back and do the west side construction, and that will basically wrap up right around Christmas time. Once we get back into the normal Phase 2 and Phase 3, the main line Grant Street, we will maintain one-lane traffic north at all times, and you will also be able to turn left onto William Street from Grant Street at that time. Grant Street Phase 2 is still out there for 2027 as well. Working through our on-site appraisal programs right now to get ready for right-of-way buying that will be freed up by NDOT towards midsummer. Fordyce Street is still out there. We haven't forgot about Fordyce Street. We're within a few days of final approvals on the new elementary school, and we're planning to coincide construction with Fordyce at that time as well, having that under construction in '24, wrapping up in '25 in time for the new school opening. Big Four Trail, lots going on at the Big Four Trail. If you've not been out there on the rural section, paving, shoulder work, the ADA ramps, the road crossings of the county roads, those are all complete. In fact, we're having our pre-final walkthrough tomorrow. The only thing that's left after the pre-final would be striping and signage, and that'll be happening in the next few days. Other trail-related projects we're excited about, there's a county-wide trail mile marking system that's being installed. Probably over the next 30 days or so, we'll be installing trail mile markers all the way across the entire county, thanks to a donation from the Community Foundation. Also, another project that's somewhat trail-related, but really covers the whole city. Citywide wayfinding signage is being manufactured as we speak, and will start to go into the ground in July. And then also on the trail front, happy to report, as we see the completion of the Big Four Trail across the county, we've begun to turn our sights towards the next major regional trail, which is the Midland Trace Trail, which will go basically connects Noblesville to Westfield right now. Westfield is working on getting that to the county line. We will pick it up there, and working with our partners in Whitestown and Zionsville and the county and other partners to get that all the way across Boone County. Eventually, the Midland Trace Trail ends in Ladoga in southern Montgomery County. So that's the next regional trail that we're beginning to focus on as the Big Four Trail end is in sight. Other active living programs, the cost share program as always is really successful this year, in full swing. We're at about 50% of the funds depleted, 24 applications, 11 commitments, and 10 projects completed. We're also, with the active living money, working on the sidewalk opposite of the Big Four Trail on Southeast Street. Crews started today. We're kind of focusing on Elm Street, right here next to the city building, moving south to Green Street. Obviously, there's the work around the old Stokes Elementary that has already been completed. That's in good shape. We're going to skip over that. Once we cross Noble Street, we've got a few more sections of sidewalk on the west side of the road. Once the trail splits off and goes out into the park, we'll then look at sidewalks on both sides of the road down to Beck Street, really trying to improve that pedestrian connectivity around Abner Longley Park. Stony to Bike Park, there's a lot of dirt hauling in right now, no real new updates. We did do some additional standard Proctor testing to develop compaction testing requirements for optimal compaction densities and moisture content. And happy to report that the compaction testing on these dirt that we're hauling into the site, which is about 60,000 cubic yards at this point, has all been positive. We're able to get the compaction needed to meet the IDEM requirements, and we are moving forward. We are still waiting on full IDEM approval for the construction of the park, but in terms of the landfill cap modifications and fortifications, we're moving that forward. Remind everyone, to date, we've spent about $360,000. About $310,000 has been on landfill cap-related improvements. Only a small amount really on design for the bike park improvements. Total funding package right now is a little less than what I last mentioned to you, or because of reductions from the DLGF office on the $750,000 sanitation funds, or about $1.9 million, and we're adjusting project budgets accordingly to live within that $1.9 million funding source that we have to date. Regional detention, we're awaiting Ken's Foods response on the land purchase agreement that we have to them. These are responses related to final survey documents, access easements, and final closing documents that our friends at Dinsmore and Scholl put together and put in their hands. So hopefully we're nearing the end of that project and be closing that out and ready for the expansion of our regional detention system. And we're still working through approvals with Christopher Burke on the replacement of the Price Legal Drain under the CSX Railway, as well as under State Road 39, as well as in extending that regional conveyance system up to the Fieldhouse project. And there'll be discussions on reimbursement agreements later tonight on that item. Elizaville Road drainage, also talking about drainage in other parts of the city. We have a neighborhood meeting set for tomorrow where we have some bad flooding problems along Elizaville Road. And while we're talking about drainage problems, I know we finally had a good bit of rain over the weekend or yesterday. And so if people are seeing problems where there are drainage in their area, please call our office, email us, let us know where those things are so we can begin to develop plans to put the necessary infrastructure in place to correct those issues. From the inspection department, since our last meeting, we've had 19 SWIP inspections, responded to 5 complaints, issued and inspected 11 right-of-way permits, and there is, as you can imagine, this time of year, there is a long list of construction projects that are ongoing, keeping Mr. Calvert busy at all times. If there's any questions I can answer?
That's a lot. Does anybody from the board have any questions?
Yeah, I have a, what's the proposed route of this trail that's coming from Westfield to Ladoga through Boone County?
Yeah, good question. I'll have to bring some exhibits for you here in the near future so I can show you these. But essentially, if you were in Westfield, about a half-mile south of 32, paralleling 32, is where it comes across Westfield and goes out towards the county line. If you're familiar with the town of Jolietteville, as you go through Jolietteville, you can kind of see the old rail line as it comes up to 32. I think that's Mule Barn Road is where it crosses 32 and kind of goes to the north side of 32, continues to parallel 32 and run straight west all the way across the county until it would come into Lebanon roughly through the extension of Main Street through the Oak Hill Cemetery. And then it kind of started to turn southwest as it went through town, went out through Max and Advance, and continued to go out in that southwesterly direction until it hits Ladoga, where I think it stopped at an old canning factory at some point in the history. Interesting fact, I just found out that the reason Advance is called Advance is they were petitioning for the advance of the railroad system through their town back in the early 1900s.
So how did Max get its name?
I have no idea. I think we have a Max, Mr. Newell grew up in the town of Max. Maybe he could offer an opinion there. I
I think that
don't
was
know.
his uncle.
Yeah, maybe. So,
The only question I had was that drainage issue in Northfield. We've had a couple of emails go back and forth with the lady there on Northfield Drive going in.
yeah, I believe,
They've gotten to that yet.
no, I think they're scheduled to be out there this week doing some profile milling. And we
Yeah.
think we can profile mill along the gutter line and get
Yeah.
that to drain better.
Okay.
So fingers crossed, we'll be able to at least see some improvements there.
Okay.
Any other question from the board? Any question from the public? Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Next up is Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening, board members. Since the last Board of Works meeting 3 weeks ago, Lebanon Planning Department has completed an additional 113 building inspections, so about 40 a week. And this is a number I haven't seen yet. We received 115 building permit applications in the last 3 weeks. Not seen a number in triple digits yet, so we had a very active 3 weeks there. We did issue 11 new single-family homes, and also the first 14 permits were applied for in Belcanto. So we should see in buildings 1 through 14 get started here before too terrible long, and then they expect to do some rolling applications for the next buildings like every month, every 2 to 4 weeks after that for the rest of the buildings on that campus. So be a lot of activity happening out there in addition to the field house once Belcanto gets started. And obviously you can tell that we had a storm with some hail because we have 35 roofing permits that were applied for in the last 3 weeks. So a lot of activity there. On the Planning Commission filing side, we did have our filing deadline for the July meeting about a week ago, and we had 2 new applications that came in. One was a development plan application. There's a company looking at a small project on Sam Ralston Road out in front of the hotel. That's just started review. They're looking at doing a small multi-tenant commercial building on that project, on that property. So we're just started review there, and that would go at the July Planning Commission meeting. And then another PUD rezone is coming in, this time for property on John Shaw Road east of the field house. So looking at doing a mixed-use development. Strategic Capital Partners is looking at that project just east of the field house site. So a lot of activity down in that area around the field house coming up. One final administrative note, we have a new administrative assistant. We'll be starting here in a couple weeks on June 26th. Jennifer Wilson will start her new position. We're really excited to have her on board and provide us some much-needed administrative relief to our both the planning and engineering offices. So Christy's looking forward to that, when she won't have to handle 113 building inspections, 115 building permits, to have some help doing that. So looking forward to get that on board, and you'll start seeing us shuffling some furniture around the office, making space for that new person. So on the code enforcement side, again, we're still extremely active. Over the last 3 weeks, there were 134 additional investigation activities and 36 new cases. So again, a lot of activity there, that people are seeing things that they have questions about with property maintenance and things like that for their neighbors or anywhere in the community. Please contact our office and we'll investigate those. So a lot of good things happening here and a lot of good things to come. And that's all I've got for right now.
Question from the board? Any question from the public? Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Next up is Street Department and Stormwater Department. David.
How's everybody doing? We're just out doing potholes still, mostly caught up now to mostly alley areas. So if you see anything, don't hesitate to get on the portal or just give us a call at the office. That number is 765-482-8870. Press number 4, and you'll get right to us. Still keeping the easements clean of trash. Started our weekly mowing schedule, but it's kind of slowed down without the rain. So maybe with this rain, we'll be back on getting some more grass growing. Keeping our drains clean. It includes the vac machines out, the sweepers out. Actually been able to do a lot of drain reconstructions, we call them. They're basically just tearing the drains that are falling apart and rebuilding the walls and stuff on them. So we've had a few of those without the rain. It's kind of helped us. Big shout out to Bob, Sean, a new guy. We got Davey, Jason, and Ian. They were out doing some stuff in the annexation area. We call it John Shaw Road, I guess, right there by the old 84 lumber, and happened to drive by and see a mower stuck and didn't think nothing of it, but then they backed back up and it was a lady that needed some much needed help. So, you know, you can't train guys to do that. They went out of their way to get her mower out, get her cooled back down, the lady herself, and just helped out. And that's a huge thank you for us. It represents our city, you know, so I appreciate those guys. We are out this week doing brush, so put your brush out by the, preferably not in the road, by the curb, and don't block the sidewalks. If it's just on the back side, we'll get it. You don't have to block where people walk, and try to walk with their families and stuff. Use a little bit of common sense, goes a long way. And update on the new street department, looking really good. I mean, they got tile in the bathroom. Looks flashy to us. We go in there and we're kind of feel like we're a little bit more than what we need. But yeah, they got tiles in the bathroom. The salt barn's going up. They were actually putting asphalt down end of last week, so the first layer that's going in. So if you haven't had a chance to go by there, definitely, you know, you don't even have to go up there. Just cruise around Vincennes and you'll be impressed with what you see. But so that's all I got.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions from the board? Anything from the public? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next will be communications and community development. Joe LePage.
Good evening, everyone. Starting my report with a brief thank you on Boone County Summerfest. This year was our biggest ever as far as those attendees and the bands as well. Biggest crowds, little rain, ended some things early on Saturday. We shifted from Saturday, Sunday to Friday, Saturday. It looks like we're going to continue doing that in the years to come. The 2024 event is tentatively set for May 31st into May 31st to June 1st, looking to kind of level up the musical acts, and so we will pass along who that's going to be, maybe some names that you have heard of on a national scale, not just a regional one. As far as the Love and Lebanon podcast is concerned, we previewed Donut Day with Terry Rake a couple episodes back, and then Lexi Britt Buis, we talked with her. She's the new communications director with the school corporation. Talked to her about her dream job being LCSC. On the topic of video production, we put together groundbreaking video for the school at Harney Elementary. We recorded some footage earlier today for the Perry Worth groundbreaking. We're going to put it together in one large community school corporation improvement project video, and so going to put that together for the school corporation. Also, we've been doing our monthly Stone Eater Bike Park installments. And finally, mark your calendars for this Saturday, June 17th from 9 a.m. until noon. Pending Board of Works street closure approval, there will be a community creation day on Camp Street for the Camp Street mural. As you may have noticed, near Harney Elementary School, area artist Anita Gordon has been painting the north side of the mural, and you can see downtown buildings that are complete on that section of the mural, but we need your help to complete the mural that is on the south side. That portion, you see the Skyview movie theater, you can see the old school, and then you can see more of the design here from the Camp Street, the street signs there. And so, again, pending the Board of Works approving a street closure request I'd like to make later on, they can participate in this Community Creation Day on June 17th from 9 a.m. until noon. You can come paint with the artist. She'll show you how to do it, so you don't have to really let that creative juice flow. It's just right there. She's going to make it easy for you. Free for all ages. We'll get you some snacks and some Lebanon swag as well as part of the project, but wanted to invite everyone out to that. Again, that's on Camp Street coming up on this Saturday. That's all I have.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board? Anything from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, that concludes department head reports. Move on to old business. There's nothing on my agenda. Is there anything from the board?
Nothing.
Okay. New business then. First item up is a change order request for the Witt Road Bridge replacement. Kevin Krulik.
Thank you very much. This is kind of a housekeeping item for the Witt Road Bridge project as we're nearing completion. If you might recall, the bridge goes back a little ways. We were originally scheduled to do that bridge in 2021. We had to delay it from the spring of 21 to the fall of 21, while we were waiting for some water main relocation work to be completed. And unfortunately, that took longer than expected, and we ended up pushing that project into 2022 for fear that we would lose the weather in 21. And obviously, 2022 didn't go as planned, but we do owe the contractor some contractual obligations because it was delayed from that 21 original start to 22. And so there are legitimate cost increases from going one year to the next, and our contract would foresee compensating them for those changes. So there are technically two change order forms. It's change order number 3 associated with the bridge, totaling $21,728.41. And then change order 2, which is for the road adjacent to the bridge, the associated road projects, totaling $19,833.64. Again, there's no additional work to be done. This is just cost escalation that you saw from 21 to 22 associated with the project.
Now, remind me, because they were delayed getting the bridge open, though, there
was roughly $128,000 that was subtracted off of the final bill through a change order process, but there was $128,000 worth of liquidated damages that we collected from them.
So we're still ahead of where we were?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for Kevin on that from
We
the
still
board?
got the liquidated damages to walk through, right?
No, that's all complete. So we did that, really towards fourth quarter last year. They put that in also through change order documentation that was approved and paid through pay application. So again, it was a negative change order, so it was just something that came off of the total that they were able to bill us. So this increases that total a little bit from the reduction we had before.
Are we expecting any more change orders between?
No. And in fact, we've had this documentation on this increase since early 2022 when it was delayed. Just had never been put into a change order format that we've had the ability to act upon.
Yeah, Tony?
What's the difference between these two? On the wording, I don't see any difference.
Yeah, the only thing, it's very slight. If you look at near the top, there's a heading called Project, and next to there you'll see one will say Witt Road Structure,
Got it.
and then on the next page it says Witt Road Road.
Gotcha. Okay,
So that's the difference.
that's fine. Thank you.
Any other questions from Kevin? Okay. Would entertain a motion then to approve change orders requests for the Witt Road Bridge replacements number 2 and number 3.
Make a motion we approve the change order for number 2 for the road for $19,832.64, and number 3 change order for the bridge for $21,728.41.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Judge. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those are approved. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right, next will be a street closure request from the Heart of Lebanon. Missy Krulik.
Hello, Missy Krulik with the Heart of Lebanon. We just have a couple changes to the, of course, road closures that I asked for before. The first one is the Boone County Bike Night that will happen on June 23rd, July 28th, August 25th, and September 22nd, which is the fourth Friday of the month, from 6 to 9 p.m. They've asked for some additional closure. Before, we just had the Meridian Street underneath the lights, and they've asked for South Meridian Street from Main to the alley, just to hold some more bicycles. And then we have one food truck at every Summer Nights event, so that'll hold the food truck as well.
So not the whole block of
No, just the
Meridian?
half of South Meridian.
Okay,
block.
to the alley, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, I would approve that amendment to the street, or the amending the street closure request for the Boone County Bike Night to reflect as presented.
I'll make a motion, we approve the street closures for the Boone County Bike Night.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Is Alan, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those are approved. Thank you,
Thank
Missy.
you. The second one is Oktoberfest. Because of the upgrades that were done to the electrical system downtown, in the past, we've always had the stage for Oktoberfest at the corner of Main and Meridian, and they've always wanted to use a generator, even though we had the electrical component at Meridian and Washington, because they liked the generator, but apparently this year, because of the upgrades that you all did to the electrical system and the additional panels that were added, they now want to use, to have the stage placed at Washington and Meridian. So we're just gonna kind of flip the event over. So it'll be on Meridian Street and Washington Street, so it'll be L-shaped.
So same layout as Summerfest then?
Yes, same layout as Summerfest.
Any questions or concerns from that? Okay, would approve amending the street closure request for the Oktoberfest event.
I'll make a motion, we approve that street closure for the Oktoberfest.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Approved.
Okay, and the last thing is regarding some sidewalks, some decals that I would like to put on the sidewalks. And I don't know if you all know what the Youth Learning Garden is. A lot of people in the community don't. It's one of the assets that we have in the heart of Lebanon that we'd like to kind of highlight and get people in, children and family, to see where that garden is. The most identifiable feature for the garden is the walking man on South Street. He stands there in the garden, and it's behind Central Christian Church. It's actually land owned by them, but maintained by the Boone County Community Gardens. So what we would like to do, I've got them down here, is it would start, okay, you can see it. Okay, so South Meridian, kind of by where our office is on Main Street. We'd like to put one of these. It is a poly bead that's printed. It has a fabric back, and then it's adhesive. And so it says, "Follow the bees to the Youth Learning Garden." So we'll have one of those at Meridian and Main, Main and East, and East and South Street, just to kind of direct at those intersections what's going on and why there's the bees. And then these are the bees that the kids can follow along the way. It says, "Follow the bees to the Youth Learning Garden." So the kids can kind of follow the path of the bees down Main Street, and then go south on East Street, and then east on East South Street. To the Youth Learning Garden, where there's an arch, and they can go in the garden and see all the plants, and there's areas in there to sit, and there's art. It's just a nice little garden, an asset that's downtown that is not utilized, so we'd like to kind of help activate that. So just asking permission. I've already talked to the property owners along the way, but I know that that the Board of Works controls like the maintenance of the sidewalks and things. So, so I'm asking for permission to be able to put our stickers down.
And I think you said this, but these are temporary, right?
These
They
are just
last for-
temporary, yeah.
How long roughly do they last? Or you envision that?
They should last about 6 months, if even that. We have I bought a couple extra just for replacements in case something happens to one. But yeah, it's not temporary. It's just really to some wayfinding to activate it for this summer, to get people to the youth learning garden.
So then after that, then you take them up.
Yeah, we take them up. And I have all the specs on it. I got them printed through Mounts Sign and Graphics, and he gave me the spec sheet, and it says it doesn't leave any adhesive residue on the sidewalks. And I know other Main Street communities have used these. I've seen them.
Gotcha.
And it has a non-slip surface. It's the poly bead, so it kind of reminds you of the stair tread, feel.
So it's ADA compliant, all
Yeah,
that, and, yeah, perfect. Okay. Won't get slippery when wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Any questions for Missy on that? Okay. I guess would entertain a motion to approve the youth learning garden signage on the sidewalks, I guess?
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the Follow the Bees to the Youth Learning Garden as a presented.
We have motions, there a second? Second. Second from Judge. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's opposed. Okay, that's approved. Thank you, Missy.
Thank you.
Cool project. All right, next up will be revisions to speed limit signage, Maple Drive. Kevin Grillick, surprise.
Taking this for John. So I prepared an ordinance that will go before council for consideration. But this is to lower the speed limit on Maple Drive. This is from State Road 39 back to Garfield. This is adjacent to the soccer field. Reese Park, thank you. Adjacent to Reese Park, lowering that speed limit from 30 to 20. So we're just asking for Board of Works approval and support of the ordinance and the placement of new speed limit control signage within the right-of-way.
Any questions or concerns with that from the board?
Just got one.
Okay.
Do we have any Watch for Children playing signs there as well?
I don't recall. Do you know if there's? Okay. There's not. If that is something that we could, if the board would so choose, we could also look at adding those.
Well, just because it's right next door to that park.
Okay.
I hate to put those things out because it identifies a liability that we would have, but you're right there by the park, and you got kids that are probably running across the street back and forth when they park on the east side and don't get to park in the parking lot there to get to the thing, so it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have a couple children playing signs tied to the speed limit signs down through there.
And I can support signage like that when it's adjacent to a park. I know we get that request from time to time in neighborhoods. Because neighborhood populations are always changing, we tend to not support those types of requests. But where it's adjacent to a park facility, I think that's appropriate. So I think that could be part of the motion to support the lowering of the speed limit, the placing of the signs, and you could amend that or include in that motion that we also place slow children at play signs. So.
I think that's a good idea since we're going to drop the speed limit to 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the speed limit change on Maple Drive there, west of State Road 39 to Park Place, also with the addition of a couple of Watch for Children playing signs as well.
Motion, is there a further
Reduce
discussion?
it.
Hold on.
Well,
further discussion?
it's to Garfield, isn't it?
It is to Garfield.
Yeah.
The Park Place is the name of the subdivision.
Yeah.
Garfield Street is the next intersection.
Okay.
Further discussion? Is there a second on that?
I second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Thank you, Kevin. And
Thank
John?
you very much.
All right, revisions to no parking signage for Edwards Drive. Kevin?
So similar action here, we're asking you to consider. Edwards Drive is kind of the west edge of the current Lebanon Business Park. And south of Council Drive, we're seeing a lot of trucks parking in the right-of-way there, and it's kind of creating for some dangerous situation with the amount of workers traveling through that area to get to places like D.S. Smith and Ken's Foods, New Cold, and D.A. Lubricants are all sort of located right at the end of Edwards Drive. We've kind of had to, the police have been helping us out trying to get people encouraged to not be parking there because it's creating a dangerous situation with passing vehicles. So we would just like to, again, ask for your support of an ordinance to add that section of the street to our no parking schedule, and then authorize us to install signage accordingly.
Is that one side or both sides of the street?
We do it both sides, yeah.
Are they having trouble with trucks parking up down?
Exactly, yeah, there's a lot of trucks parking, and with the amount of traffic that the employees are making through there, it's creating for some dangerous situations at times.
Are
We've even seen.
are these trucks waiting to get unloaded, or are they?
Yeah. If it helps you guys out, we did this at cold storage 3 years ago. We had the same problem. It's
Yeah.
mostly trucks that are waiting to get in, and we put up the no parking signs, not to butt in on you, Kevin, but.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
And it moved them in, and we never had a problem again, I think. Scott Hood can even vouch for that, so it works.
This is something that Dave and Chief Morgan and I have all been talking about and working on. It's definitely something that the police have asked for our support on, so that they can enforce these rules. But from the Board of Works standpoint, your purview is equipment or anything placed in the right-of-way. So again, it's asking for your support for the ordinance change that City Council would take under consideration, and then your approval to place signage within the right-of-way.
Any other questions for Kevin? Yeah. I would entertain a motion then to approve the revisions, or I guess, motion to show our support for the ordinance of the revisions to the no parking signage for Edwards Drive.
I make a motion, we approve the revisions for the no parking signage.
The motions are second.
Second.
Second from Judge. All in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? So that's our approved. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Anything else? Kevin's good? Okay. That concludes what I have for new business. Anything from the board? Okay, move on to claims. Would entertain a motion concerning the claims?
I make a motion, we approve the claims.
The motion to approve the claims, is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Claims are approved. All right, Joe, I believe you waved you down. You had something for new business?
Yeah, in my Board of Works report, I mentioned that I was going to ask pending Board of Works approval for a street closure request for Saturday, June 17th, from 8:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. I've got to put it on my phone here. I hope that works. It may be something I use going forward. But there it is. There's a closure request to close to through traffic. They're stopping a hard stop there at Hoy Avenue along Camp Street, but then a sign for close to through traffic there along Lafayette Avenue from 8:30 to help us get set up. The event is from 9 a.m. until noon, but then 12:30 gives us time to get the signs out of the way and get all the equipment off the street.
So really the only part, so the bridge itself is, the through traffic is closed then?
Right.
Or,
Absolutely.
like you could, like if you lived on Clifford Court, you'd have to come in from Lafayette, is that right? Or you?
Yep, or you could park over at Harney and then walk across to be able to take part in the event.
Okay, I got you. But Camp Street will still be open, it'll just be a hard closure between Hoy and Clifford for the painting of the bridge, right?
Yep.
So will you post down at Camp Street Bridge, or
Right
closed?
at the intersection there, it'll be closed to traffic along Camp Street. The only access point will be along Lafayette Avenue. It'll be closed to through traffic, so you'll be able to get through there. We'll put one more sign there underneath the bridge itself, and so folks can
Right.
get all the way to the
but you'll
neighborhoods
let
that
them
are
know at
nearby.
Camp Street that the road's closed?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Through it, okay.
So you could go down to Hoy and up
Sure.
Lafayette? and-
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Goes Hoy Avenue to Lafayette Avenue, or have we just
It-
changed that?
No, so it's just the bridge.
Right.
But there's gonna be, where the signage is placed saying, close it through traffic. There's gonna be one before the bridge at Camp,
Yeah,
and then by Hoy, and then also one on Camp by Lafayette Avenue, if that makes sense.
all right.
Right, so, but you can still get to Clifford Court from Lafayette Avenue. if you're coming that way.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Right.
it's just the section of the bridge is closed. Okay.
In similar fashion that we've done, well, Anita's been working on the north side as well. so.
Right, okay. Any other questions or concerns with that? Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the closure for Camp Street on Saturday, June 17th from 8:30 to 12:30? Was that it? Okay.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, Joe. Sorry, yell at Kelly for not putting it on the agenda.
No problem.
Sorry. Okay, we approved the claims. Would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn. Second.
Motion adjourn, second from Dick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, our next Board of Works meeting will be June 26th at 6:15 PM. We are adjourned.